how to get back to guided. Oh no, the dark forces are on you. Hello, I'm Fractal Future, and welcome to the Vanguard of Light, where we help spiritually minded people take it to the next level, going deep. We're talking about being guided, deeper connection to Source. Source has all the answers that you need, and really how you bring back your gifts, awaken your gifts, so you have more to give. So let's talk about this. Talking about getting back to guided. This is part 4, where we talked, you're feeling that sense of wanting to be guided, right? And then it's first to realize, like, wait, if you're waking up to where you want to be guided, that's a form of guidance. You're realizing that, hey, wait, I don't have a deep connection. I want to get guided. That's that guidance coming in and saying, like, hey, I need to get your attention. I need to get your attention. So that's positive. You're realizing that. And then we talked about the 3 different ways of what to look for. One, realizing like there could be energy vampires. There could be things that you need to do, but you haven't quite gotten to them, right? And they're kind of draining on you. They're draining, just pulling energy of like, and it could be just a thing of like, maybe you just don't need to do them. We really went through a process of like, you figure out, okay, do you want to do it? Do you not want to do it? Then you commit to doing it. To get those out, and like not to have that just pulling a little piece of you, right? That's kind of like that vampiring off. You got some form of guidance of like whether you need to do it or didn't do it. Then it got lost in the fray. So it's kind of like this disconnect of like you had some guidance, but now you lost it, but now it's pulling energy away. So it's dripping, pulling away energy. The next part was it could be a situation where you're really going gung-ho on your goal and your past capacity actually increased past your goal. To where now the goal became a grind because you're not really challenging yourself. You've got more room to grow. And like kind of you want to get on that edge to where you have to go to Source and be like, Source, help me out. This is bigger than me, right? You became bigger than it. So it's kind of like getting, get it bigger, get the goal bigger, get the attempt bigger, what you're taking on bigger. So you have to go to something bigger than you to pull it off. And then finally, number 4 we're talking about are 3 different parts is dark forces. Yeah, dark forces. They're dark forces. And you could have a level of dark force where it's increased past your ability to resist it because you were tapped in, and it's interfering with that connection. It's like static hand up. It doesn't want you to succeed. But in this moment, when you have that kind of like that disconnect, you don't want to necessarily turn to it and directly attack it, right? Be like, oh, I'm gonna go after the dark force because your connection's kind of a little staticky and it's infiltrated that, and it wants to be staticky and it wants to get you off your path. Right? Even if it's attacking it and fighting it, it's off your path. And it wants to distract you down that thing, especially when you're slightly weakened, when you basically don't have all your resources to go after it. So it's more of what to do then is kind of just acknowledge that, yeah, there's probably some dark forces pulling me off my path. Okay, what is my path? How do I keep reconnecting back to my path? And then notice the interference. So you're not directing at it. You're not engaging the feelings that saying like, oh, well, you feel this, you feel that. It's like, okay, thank you for sharing. Back to your goal, and then like making progress, thinking about your goal, what's your next step, and just notice the interference. You're not looking at it, you're not addressing it yet. You're just taking notice, right? And you're gonna go for your stuff, and it's almost like you're not looking at it, but you're paying attention to what it's doing, so it doesn't feel like it's in a battle with you. So it's gonna give up more information. Right? It's going to attack you in new ways and kind of show you how it attacks you, right? So you're just kind of aware that's doing it. It's like, okay, I'm going to get my goal, and it's going to throw up with some resistance. And you're like, okay, that's the resistance. I'm going to go for my goal. It's going to throw up some resistance. No, I'm going to go for my goal, go for reconnecting to your goal, while it's throwing up resistance. But you're paying attention to all the stuff it threw up at you. It's all the things the way it tried to stop you. And the more you keep going forward, the more it's going to try to stop you because it feels it's got you a little weak, right? It feels it got you up against the ropes, right? It's taking you down. But you continue. You focus on your goal, where you're going. You address the energy vampires. You're addressing if you need increased capacity. But you're also paying attention of like, okay, there could be these dark forces that are interfering. By not focusing on them, but still going to your goal, it's going to double down on trying to get you, right? But you can see that you can start seeing that happen, what it's doing, right? You're not going to confront it because you're going to kind of like you're luring it out, like that, because it likes to operate in the background. It likes to whisper in your ear, make you doubt stuff, and not realize that something just whispered in your ear to doubt stuff. Because if it's whispering in your ear and it's making you feel crappy, most likely it's a dark force. It's not for your good, right? So, but by you focusing on your goal, While kind of got a little bit of a disconnect from source, so to speak, you're not tuned up as much, it kind of feels that, ooh, it's a good time to attack, right? But you're in line, you're going for your goal. So you're always tapping back, to get hooked up, right? And you just keep going, seeing the attack, keep going, seeing the attack, keep going, seeing the attack, because you're taking catalog of that, right? Taking catalog on the ways in which it attacked you. So then when you keep going towards your goal and you do get rehooked back up, you get back on fire and you're like, yeah, I got this. Now you can go after the lies that were told. Now it's like you feel invigorated, you feel you're tapped in the source. Now you can be like, oh, let's take a look at the ways in which you attacked me. So then you can really start undermining that voice, really take away its power, really start removing the ways in which it attacked you. Because now you got clarity on it and you weren't directly fighting, getting distracted, you got hooked back up, and you collected a lot of data on the ways in which it attacks you, the voices that it said, the ways in which it says you're not enough, you can't do this, you can't do that, and you're like, and then you can go and directly address it, clear it, get that out, because you drew it out. You drew it out of its dark cave as it was thinking that you're weak, it's ready to attack on you and pounce you, and it's going to get you down, it's going to take you out, not realizing that you're watching. You're still going towards your goal while it's attacking you. You're not turning to it of like, oh, I see you do it. You pretend like you didn't see it, but you're seeing all its attacks, all the stuff it's doing. So then when you do get tapped in, you can be like, boom, and take away, because you can see it now, and you can take away all those tools, or where you're this, not enough this way, and not enough that. You aren't this, and you can't do that, but you're strong, and you can see it for a lie. And then it can no longer attack you that way, because you fortified yourself against that while you're strong, knowing how to attack you. That's another way in which you can kind of get back to guided, to where you might not be feeling guided, but you are getting information on how you get pulled off. So just taking it like, okay, I'm not feeling guided, but I'm going towards my goal. Just use my logic of like, this is my goal. And then just noticing that voice that's coming, that's not source, that's not guidance. That's the darkness, but you're cataloging all that. So even though you might not feel that, the juice of being like, tapped in, you're doing positive work and you're collecting info while still focusing on your goal, because you're building that muscle too of not getting distracted by darkness, especially when you're weakened and it knows it's like kind of luring you in of like, hey, come down this dark alley, and you're kind of tired and you're like, I know, there's you. And then you go around the corner and then they all jump you. It's like, no, I'm going to keep going towards my goal, keep going to source, because eventually you'll hook back up. But you notice all the ones that came out and attacked you, then you can go and get it. And then be like, okay, no more. I know what you're doing. And you can banish them, so to speak. So hopefully that helps. Just do a little review of like, getting tapped back in. That desire to be guided, notice that is guiding. That is a guiding force of like, oh, cool. That means I am tuning back up. Then we go into the energy vampires, looking of like, okay, where have I let some stuff? Possibly I had a guidance to do it, but I didn't get around to it, got distracted or whatever, and they start hanging around. And it's like, I should be doing that, but I haven't done it for so long. Clearing those out, because I'll help get back to guided. Then realizing where's the areas in your life that you're actually capacity increase past your goal. You might have geared up, so I'm going to take this on, right? I'm going to go for it. And it was a challenge, but your capacity now exceeded that. It's no longer a challenge. It's just really hard and a grind. So it's how to like match that and turn that up to where now it is a challenge and you do get enthused. And then finally, is the dark forces in play? Are the dark forces in play? You don't engage them, but you're watching what they're doing. So when you do get hooked back up, now you got fuel to go after them and clear them out. So hopefully that helps. And until we talk again, have a blessed day or a blessed night.